Do you know that the electorates have the power to recall their representative in case their representative is not performing in their interest?
Yeah, I've heard of that, and I've even read it in a constitution somewhere where it says that citizens can recall their member of parliament. Although there was a caveat that parliament shall enact legislation to bring into effect the recalling.
Actually, the recall provision has been there, and I've read about it, and it's only that it has not been put into effect, but it has been there, and it's one that I think was awaiting, because it was one of the areas that was supposed to be legislated upon, so that Parliament legislates upon the modalities of recalling and the procedures themselves. So that one I think has not yet been done, to the best of my knowledge. But it's an aspect that is there, I think, that has been ineffective because of failure to have been put into place.
According to the performance of the current MPs, do you think they've delivered according to the interest of Mwananchi?
They have not delivered, as per my take. As per my take, they have not delivered, but some of them have tried. We can again acknowledge that. We cannot always put them in a negative limelight. But as far as things are concerned, development, they have done a little, but some of them are trying. A very good example, the late Ken Okoth really tried, and he was one of the people who was ranked as the best user of the CDF. We've seen that. If you go to Kibera, the slums are being upgraded, many things, and you can count a number of them.
Do you think that the Mwananchi is able to recall their electorate, their representatives?
Some things are better said than done. You see, looking at the structure of our country itself, you realize that if it's the members of parliament who are going to write that legislation, it will be a bit tricky, because they're going to create lacunas and sometimes even clawback clauses that will ensure that they are not recalled.
Have you ever heard of anywhere where citizens have recalled their representatives?
No, I've not heard of anywhere.
So it is a law that is there, it is a right that is there, but the citizens have not yet put it into action.
Yes, I think most people are not aware about it. Majority of the population are not aware, although some of us have just heard about it, and even it's seen it in the constitution.
So what do you think are the challenges that are making it hard for the citizens to take into action for this provision?
I think one of the challenges is awareness. Citizens are not aware. They don't know about this law. Number two is that even if citizens were aware and they want to do the recall, now the same constitution says that the parliament should enact legislation to bring into effect that clause. How can the parliamentarians sit down and make laws to recall themselves? It's not possible. Yeah.
Do you know about the provision in the constitution that provides for the electorates to recall their representatives?
I know that is in Article 104. 104 gives the Wananchi power now to recall them. More so when they go there to misuse our taxpayers' money, or go there to misuse our funds. But no, in every part of Kenya, nothing has materialized when it comes to that. No, in Kenya, campaign in Kenya, according to the statistic, has been so much expensive, and in Kenya we give the politicians gives us, but instead we are supposed to give the politician so that we can compel them. We spent during your campaigns, we elected you inside the office, now it's upon you to come and reciprocate, give us the manifesto, give us, fulfill, implement everything. But here comes the case that they overspend on us to an extent. After getting the office, a very good example, some of them are even taking loans. So for the first 2 years, their main issue is to recover the loan, pay it back. Then they need to develop themselves. Then that is why you get them, they are doing a lot. They are doing a little on the ground.
I think the crop of MPs we are having right now, they are driven by greed, the greed to enrich themselves. That is the problem we are having right now. They have lost, they have lost track. They are no longer serving the interest of the people who elected them. They are driven by the greed to get rich quickly.
I call to the MPs something that I can take. So far we can do a little, and much the little that we can do is only to demonstrate. For their realization to see these people are demonstrating against this and this, there is something that I cannot be able to do. I've not done well as far as development records is concerned, development issues are concerned. Yeah. That's the little so far we can do. Yeah. We can only demonstrate.
By the way, the process itself, collecting the signatures, before you begin collecting the signatures, if one of the process of the procedures of that legislation will be collection of signatures, that one will be destroyed, that will be dealt with at the very initial stages. Because, you know, the members of parliament are elected leaders, they have their informants on the ground. These people will tell them that so-and-so is collecting signatures. So that process will be sabotaged at the very initial stages of the whole thing.
Honestly, with the kind of economy we have, a struggling economy, yet MPs would like to give themselves night allowances, they want to give themselves house allowances and so on. So our MPs have lost track and they no longer represent the interests of the common people.
We don't blame the MPs alone. We must as well blame the minister. We call them the CS. Look at them. Ministers have really overspent. Look at Aurora and Kimwerer. The other time we were being interviewed here concerning about Aurora and Kimwerer. Look at them, and they are confessing broad daylight that it is not 21 billion, it is 7 billion, of which that is a vice. The integrity of them being into the office, beginning from the higher position, the president himself, the deputy, coming to the CS, then before even to come to the MPs. Why do we look at the MPs that put them in a bad limelight before we put those people above? It's all about governance. We need good governance. Provided that we can reinforce that good governance, then the constitution itself, the one we are talking about, Article 104, that gives us the power to recall the MPs. Let's reinforce. We want to see that constitution being implemented fast.
So you might find that the very fella bought his way into parliament. He will still buy his way to remain relevant. He might even buy himself back into the same parliament. So some things are a bit tricky because of the fact that the structures themselves are not put in place in a proper way. Because actually, Chapter 6, and who is this going to recall? Because most of the Kenyans actually go to them for bribes. For these members of parliament to go to parliament.
For tokens.
For tokens and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, I doubt really whether it's like the kettle calling the pot black, and it's going to be a bit tricky.
Any MP who feels that what they are paid is not enough has a chance of resigning and go and seek a better job where he can be paid better. This is a position of service. It's not an employment opportunity.
When it comes to oversight, they cannot oversight anyone. These fellas, first of all, are not in the chambers. Most of the time, these guys don't attend sittings. Those what you can look at the television broadcast of some of those the sessions. You realize that most of the MPs are not even in the sittings. So at the end of the day, what I can say is that the Kenyans have actually been sold for 30 pieces. The legislators have not served the mandate they were supposed to, because they are supposed to represent the people. And they are failing that. They are failing almost every area, every indicator that matters. So I can say that they are a waste of time, a waste of taxpayers' money. And if there is anything Kenyans should do, is to send these characters home.
So I think citizens must rise up and exert pressure on our MPs. And we need the recalling law to be in place.
In general, we need a revolution. And a revolution is not a treason. We need a scorched earth revolution whereby all Kenyans, common wananchi like me, we are supposed, I'm a comrade for your information. Yes. I'm an engineer by profession. I'm a comrade. I'm a defender of human rights. We, Kenya at large, all corners, we are supposed to come and bring in a revolution. We go to the street peacefully. There should be no tear gas. We are not supposed to be paying tax. The economy of the country will collapse. We want Kenya at large. I call upon Kenya at large we synchronize this on this itinerary, we make a scorched earth revolution once and for all. That's the only way that will save the country.
What I only tell them is that they should wait for us. The Kenyans are coming for them, and the taxpayer is going to come for them because they have not lived up to the expectations of the taxpayer. So the Kenyans will come for them, and their moment of reckoning is near. The chickens are returning home to roost very soon.
So in a situation where the elected representatives do not, exercise that sovereign authority in a manner that is beneficial to the citizens, then I think we citizens must exercise it directly. We must, and the only way we can exercise it directly by recalling these MPs. That is the only way we can exercise that sovereign authority directly. Yes, and by engaging in the picketing and demonstrations, yes, where necessary.
Jiku, the Nekesa, the Wamboi, the Mweni of this country, the Halima is suffering.
Yeah.
So they should know that the people, the people to whom they are paying these taxes are not delivering the services they want. So they should be ready to recall these characters, bundle them, lock, stock and barrel, throw them away, so that we can have women and men who can be able to walk the talk and do the work that that the Kenyans demand. Because the taxpayers really suffered for many years. The taxpayers suffered, and I think it's time that they need to begin benefiting from the taxes they are paying.